The speedrun update for 3 Scary Games was exactly what it needed. Because while developing the speedrun features for the game, it made me realize something so important that I can't believe I missed it the first time. And honestly, I just think it makes the game 10 times better once I figured it out. The game is called 3 Scary Games, consisting of Man, Mind, and Monster, and I am so tired of saying that every single time. So I'll just give you the short rundown. Man is a granny-like, but the AI adapts to the player. Mind is a psychological horror walking sim with some puzzles, and Monster is a monster game, but you use parkour to move around. 3 games, 1 story.
3 Scary Games.
I gotta get the Resident Evil guy to do that intro. Resident Evil. Although they didn't do it in 4, the remake. I'm getting distracted. So while getting the speedrun clock up and running, complete with a cool little end screen, I ended up having to do multiple test runs and speed runs through each of the games, naturally. And once I'm running through the games multiple times, the fun stuff really starts to stand out. Stuff like the parkour in Monster. Even after like 10 playthroughs, I was still just getting distracted and fucking around, just jumping and swinging and sliding all over the place. It's a pretty fun game, so I'll just, Because of this, I wanted to encourage a little bit more action out of the game. You know, more chases with the monster where you have to really run around and do all that stuff to get away. But I didn't want to add any more like scripted chase sequences because that's just a whole lot of game to add for an update. And honestly, I can't be fucking bothered. So instead I decided to update how often the monster sees the player and locks on. But the way the monster sees the player is already pretty punishing. Because once it spots the player and starts chasing it, any direct line from you to the monster will cause it to see you and lock on, even if you're completely behind it at this point. So I couldn't really crank that aspect up much more because it was already pretty punishing. So instead I made the parts where you're moving boxes and spinning the poles to make a lot of noise so that the monster gets alerted and locks onto you. Meaning that you can only move them a little bit at a time before the monster starts chasing you and you have to turn and run. And while multiple speedruns really made light of good things, it also really emphasized the bad stuff, especially when you have to do them over and over and over again. Stuff that I was shocked that I didn't really notice and take account for earlier. Like, in the opening sequence of Mind, it takes like 5 minutes before anything happens. And like, I know it's a walking sim and everything, but like, what's with all the walking? I guess in my mind I was kind of just thinking like, oh, it's building tension, but I mean, nothing's happening.
What idiot designed this thing?
You did, sir.
Fair enough. Wilson, fire somebody.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
So I added some half jump scares to kind of set the mood and maybe actually build some tension before you get to the real stuff. Things like these weirdos. And while mine took way too long to get to the good stuff, Man had little stuff. I figured out that the most efficient path to a win screen in Man was a little bit under 2 minutes, which is good, I guess, for a speed run. You know, you get to beat it quickly and, you know, get a fast time and everything, but like, that means that everything outside of 2 minutes of the game is just dying and getting lost. So I added a few more items and just steps involved to give it a little bit more substance. I added some papers that you have to shuffle through for codes and recipes, and a control panel with a code needed to get into the office. And now my speedrun record is about 5 minutes. I mean, that's still not a lot, but hey, that's a 250... Is it 250? No, because 100 is double. So 100 would be 4 minutes. Yes, it'd be 150% increase, but it'd be 250%. Got it. And after that, I decided to do something completely new, and I had fun. I mean, like, of course I have fun in general, but like, for this update, I kind of just fucked around. Yeah, like, I made this banger of a death screen in Monster.
Hey, wait a minute! What's he doing? It's going all the way to the top!
This must be it, McMahon!
It's going to the very top! We're gonna let it!
I also added a Okay, one more. I also added a Darkiplier ending for a little Easter egg, and I also added a secret ending to Monster using some AI motion capture. I've dabbled in AI mocap in my last game, and it looks a little bit better, but I mean, it's still pretty janky. But you know what? I don't care. No one's gonna find this cutscene anyway. It's secret, it's hidden. Am I baiting a challenge? A little bit, you know. Overall, working on this update really brought to light what works in 3 Scary Games, and it really brought to light what was lacking. Some bits of gameplay substance, sure, but I think it was lacking a little bit of levity, too. I let the game take itself way too seriously. And you know, recent hits like Helldivers 2 and Lethal Company really showed that butt-clenching tension and some goofy laughs are not mutually exclusive. So I decided to let myself and the game have a little fun. Thank you very much.